Hello everybody, I'm Amy Gutierrez. My friends know me as Amy G, and I can't think of a more friendly audience than the one I have the pleasure of speaking with tonight. Welcome to the 7th Annual Coaching Corps Game Changer Awards. Version 7.0, it's a little different this year. It's virtual. I know we've all become accustomed to meeting this way over the past year, and although it's not quite the same as getting together in person in the Fairmont Hotel, for example, you have to go get your own glass of wine tonight, but I think you can do it. We still have a really special hour planned for you this evening. We're going to chat with some of your amazing sports heroes, your 2 favorite Giants and 2 of my favorite people, Kruk and Kite, and Warriors coach Steve Kerr. You'll get to meet some real heroes who coach kids in our community, and we have a chance to raise money for an organization that is more important than ever in this time of the pandemic. Before we get into our program, here's a reminder of the amazing people and moments we've had at this event over the past 6 years. Cheers.
What a coach does is he sees a dream, he helps a young man or a young woman craft that dream and then chase that dream.
It means letting kids know they are capable of things beyond their imagination.
And sports bring out the best in us. They bring out the passion. They bring out everything that's good in people.
The lives that you've touched, the lives that you've changed, as good as tonight is, will not touch the scope of the people that you have encountered and made better.
That's what Coaching Corps is about. It's giving back. It's spreading sunshine. It's making a difference.
Of the message and the vision that he put in me at that impressionable age, that I could do anything if I put my mind to it, and that he was going to get the best out of me every single day.
Coach, you saved my life. You did so much more for me than just be my coach. Be a friend, a mentor. You provided structure for me.
It is my duty to use my platform to empower the young women that I coach in every possible way. It is my charge to make them believe in the excellence that they possess and encourage them to seek it, even when the pathway is strewn with obstacles.
The only thing he didn't have was knowledge, and I had all the knowledge. You had the athleticism. What a combination.
I just wish that he was here to just see what I'm doing now, because Coach Lynch is the reason I am where I am today.
And at that point, I had no clue on how to be successful, but he knew. And so everything that he was telling me was what I needed to learn.
I never had plans of leading a team, never had plans on being an impact player because I didn't see it in myself. But Frank allowed me to see that. He allowed me to say, why not be great? Why not have confidence in yourself?
I coach because Coaching Corps gave me my second chance. This organization was the breath of life I needed when I was lost and wounded.
I wish America could see this show tonight. America needs shows like this and needs people like this. Thank you, Game Changers.
As you just saw, we've been honored to include some of the Bay Area's greatest athletes and coaches, and it is good luck to participate in this event. Steph Curry collected a couple more NBA championship trophies after his appearance. Tara Vanderveer became the GOAT in college basketball, the all-time wins leader, and Charles Woodson just became pro football's newest Hall of Famer. What can we say? Good karma, it pays off. We've also had the backing of companies who are pillars of our community. Our founding sponsor since day one has been the Levi Strauss Company. Comcast Xfinity joined us in year 2 to celebrate the High School Coach of the Year. And our latest MVP sponsor is Blue Shield of California. Here's what the participation of all of those terrific athletes, coaches, and sponsors has gone to support.
What we do at Coaching Corps is we recruit and train college students and members of the community to become volunteer coaches, who we then place with after-school programs that already exist so that more boys and girls can connect with a great coach, a coach who can serve as a friend, a mentor, and in some cases, a great teacher.
In this country, only a third of low-income kids play sports, but 2/3 of middle-income kids play sports. So our mission is to level that playing field so that every kid, regardless of their circumstance, gets to reap the benefits of playing sports with a trained coach.
We were seeing that sports wasn't reaching everyone. In low-income communities, they weren't getting the opportunity to play team sports. We provide them the coaches that go in there, and these coaches know what they're doing is not teaching sports so much as using sports as the delivery system for all these other amazing lessons that these kids weren't getting and didn't have the opportunity to get.
I really believe that for some kids, a coach can be their most important teacher.
It's somebody who sees your best self and helps you believe in your best self and then helps you be that best self. It's somebody who can see that in you even when you can't see that in yourself.
These kids come to practice with a big smile on their face, and I feel like I've done what I needed to do by the end of the day. When they give me a big hug or give me a high five saying like, hey coach, like I learned so much today, thank you so much. I hope they all know that they've made more of an impact on me than I feel like I've ever made on them.
It's at a time when a young person is developing, and you have an opportunity to give them core values that are necessary and needed to be successful in life.
One of the things that playing sports does, it helps uncover who you are. And it allows all those qualities that help you succeed in life to surface. Because oftentimes there's nothing that pulls that out of you. And sports can do that in a way that a classroom can't. So we need all of it.
Many low-income boys and girls were literally being left out of the game. They never had a coach who could make that special difference and impact on their lives. It's why we founded Coaching Corps, to level the playing field for all kids.
Can you tell why we love being a part of this event? And this year is really important because no one has been affected more deeply by COVID-19 than the kids Coaching Corps serves. The physical and economic suffering in their communities and the loss of in-person school and after-school activities makes the mission of this organization more relevant than ever. Like all of us, Coaching Corps has adapted to meet urgent needs this past year, like getting former NBA star Antonio Davis and a group of over 800 Coaching Corps volunteers to hand out 90,000 pounds of food in his hometown of Oakland. But in the long run, it is our ongoing work providing coaches as mentors to young people that will be vitally important to the recovery from this pandemic. Throughout this hour, you can support this critical work by making a gift to Coaching Corps. Go to coach.ggo.bid, or if you prefer to give over the phone, just call us, 510-496-5117. Okay, on with the show. Remember, in just a bit, we're going to visit live with Steve Kerr, who will be talking about his own legendary coach, Lute Olson. You do not want to miss that. And I will be chatting with baseball pioneer Alyssa Nacken, the first woman to coach in a major league game. But leading off, we have the two guys you'd most want to have a beer and watch a ball game with. Dwayne Kuiper played for 6 different big league managers, including Oakland's own Frank Robinson twice. Mike Krukow played for 8 different managers, including Robinson and the hum baby himself, Roger Craig. And after a lifetime in sports, including 30 years as a broadcast team, both know a thing or two about the importance of coaching. My 2 favorites, Kruk and Kite. Take it away.
Thanks, Amy. And Mike and I are thrilled to be here to discuss the important topics of something that is close to us because of what we went through in our careers and also because of our kids. The importance of coaches. Mike?
Coaches are the people that inspire us. They're the people that tell us not necessarily what we want to hear, but what we need to hear. And we've had a lot of people who have helped our careers, both on the field and off the field in the broadcast booth. So Kai, tell us your first coach story. Start with Little League.
We were a bunch of farmers, right? And so the coach was a farmer. And all I remember is we had a kid by the name of Tommy Hoyer who said these famous words that I'll never forget. We're not going to win today. and the coach said, Tommy, you won't be playing today. You sit right next to me. That was my introduction to tough love coaching. And, but I think the important thing for me, when I watched coaches with my kids, was make sure the coaches are firm, but also make sure the kids are having fun. They got to have fun.
They have to have fun. Well, my first coach in Little League was Old Man Steinkraus, and he was our assistant coach, and he was kind of a nasty old guy. His son, Ronnie, was my age. Anyway, we were 9 years old, and we both made the major leagues. We're playing against 12-year-old. So the very first time I ever played, we're playing against this team, Economy Reds, and Lester Marzak is on the mound, and he's a lefty who's 12 years old, and he's blowing cheese. And my first two at-bats, I did not swing the bat. I was scared to death. And after my second at-bat, Old Man Steinkraus came over and said, Mike, you can't get a hit unless you swing. That's really important in this game. Great advice, Old Man Steinkraus.
Sounds like my first hitting coach in the major leagues. You got to swing the bat. I think the one thing that will close this out is we all realize the importance of coaches when we started out as kids, and the importance of coaches throughout whatever it is, whether it's Little League, whether it's football, basketball, and I can't say this enough, firm, but when they're driving home after their event and they're not smiling, then something's wrong. They have to have fun.
When I think back of all the coaches that I had, I'm just so grateful as to how I was inspired by them. And I think those are the things that you have to remember. If you're going to be a coach, you have the responsibility to inspire, to instruct, and to educate that child about the game that you're playing. Let them know the importance of its history. Let them know the importance of development and hard work. I mean, those are all things that coaches do. And we were all lucky that we had good coaches. And if it wasn't for good coaches, we don't have the career we had. It's that simple.
And that's why this is so important, is to what everybody's doing here tonight. And I concur, Mike. And oh, by the way, Amy G, you're looking good.
On you, A the G.
Oh, they never fail to make me laugh. Crook and Kipe, you have been the best coaches to me. So most coaches, in fact, some of the most important coaches, aren't in Major League Baseball or in the NBA, WNBA, or any other pro league. They're right here in our communities, guiding young people on a daily basis. And that's what Coaching Core is all about. And it's exactly why this organization was founded by former A's owner Wally Haas and the exceptional and trailblazing and friend of mine sports writer Joan Ryan back in 2009. Here now is Joan to introduce the 2021 Coaching Core Coach of the Year.
In low-income communities all across America, the odds are stacked against kids, and they're hard to beat. Failing schools, unsafe streets, parents trying to keep up, after-school programs working tirelessly to provide a safe place to go. And now, with schools closed because of the pandemic, access to sports has declined drastically, making this undertaking even more urgent. Coaching Core coaches change the game to change the odds for kids who far too often fall through the cracks. And they're doing it in ways that were once unimaginable. Working with kids virtually, socially distanced, creating activities over video. Our coaches keep figuring out, no matter the obstacles, how to be there for our kids. We're thankful for the ambassadors who are shining a light on the importance of recruiting coaches. So when sports do return, we're ready for every child. Coaching Core is dedicated to training and supporting coaches who make sure that girls and boys in low-income communities learn skills that last a lifetime from a caring and dedicated coach like our Coach of the Year, Laura Marquez. Let's take a look.
My name is Laura Marquez, and I am from Covina, California.
Yeah, that's how I want it. Good job.
I grew up with a lot of anxiety, and I feel like once I was trying to figure out how to deal with that, sports were kind of really my outlet, and I was just always super excited to go to practice because my coaches have just been super amazing my entire life.
All right, remember, no putting each other down.
I think it's really important to have that kind of third-party perspective just because you have parents, you have your teachers telling you something every single day, and yeah, you can have that advice all the time, but I think having that third-party coach, you kind of see it, you see it from a different aspect, and I feel like once you're able to build that relationship that's not a parent relationship, I feel like these kids really confide in me a lot more than they feel like they could have with their parents.
Thumbs up if you're listening. Thumbs up if you're listening.
Being able to have that discipline with them, but then also encouraging them to be the best that they can, that this is a safe space for them to learn. Seeing that progression with them over time, it was just really cool to see, just really rewarding. I love seeing that I'm able to give them that love and give them that motivation that they don't really get at home or get from their siblings or really just anywhere, but these kids come to practice with a big smile on their face, and I feel like I've done what I needed to do by the end of the day. When they give me a big hug or give me a high five saying like, hey coach, like I learned so much today, thank you so much. Seeing that leadership build within them, and they're only like 10 years old, it's really awesome to see that. So I hope they all know that they've made more of an impact on me than I feel like I've ever made on them.
And joining us now live from her home in Los Angeles, it's our 2021 Game Changer Volunteer Coach of the Year, Laura Marquez. Laura, thumbs up if you're listening. Laura, what an honor. What would you like to say this evening?
Yeah, just thank you so much, Amy. I mean, this award means a lot, and I definitely didn't expect to be here where I am today. And I think every time I think of volunteering, I see it as a privilege, and I feel like not a lot of people see it like that. But I've been able just to provide mentorship to kids and just be someone who's constantly there for them, because a lot of the kids that I coach, they've just had somebody walk out on them. So I wanted to be that person that was going to stick around and just be there for them. And just looking around, you constantly hear about the problem child or how difficult it is to handle the situation, or the quiet kid in the corner that a lot of people just kind of ignore. And it's really easy to do that because you can talk with the kids that are really outgoing. But the problem child and the quiet kids are the ones that I really target. Those are the ones that are the most important to me. And they really just need empathy from adults. And kind of reflecting back to the coaching core training, they have really good examples of what to look for, how to support it, or how to support the kids, and just how to handle the situation in general. So every time I think about my experiences, I think just all these different kids that I've been able to help. And I remember 2 years ago, there was this little boy named Nicholas. Him and his brother, they had never touched a soccer ball before, but their dad was just really adamant about them getting into different sports, trying new things. And I saw they were really hesitant. And especially Nicholas, he was the one that was on my team. And he just didn't know where to go, what to do. And a lot of the boys on the team, they would start making fun of him because they've all been playing for a few years. Or even parents at soccer games, they would say like, hey, why are you putting him in? He's not doing too much. And I think just having him stay after practice or talk to me during water breaks or come in early to practice, I would teach him different drills, techniques, and just different skills for him to develop to enhance his confidence and improve just in general everything. And I remember at the end of the season, he finally got a ball past to him, and we were super excited about that because nobody was ever passing to him, or he didn't have the confidence just to even go out on the field. He was really nervous, and I think we definitely celebrated that, and it was huge. And just kind of thinking back, I've worked with a bunch of different kids now, so I can recognize different characteristics in every single one, but I definitely know a sad kid when I see one now. Over the years, I've shared just my connection with my own life with these kids. I see myself in them, and I look like them, so it's easier to relate and just to connect with them. But I know at practice we always talk about what's going on in the home life, what's happening with the family, how are they doing, what are they feeling, all that stuff. And they talk about, I cry all the time, I'm so sorry. They talk about just abuse that's going on, or there's a shooting outside their house and they just need to talk it out and see what's going on, or they're talking about them getting bullied at school. So we start talking about what's going on in the home life, because that's where you can see it affecting them on the playing field, and that's where you can see whatever's happening in a personal life, it transfers on the field. And so I definitely want to keep an eye out for that. And every time I have these conversations, it just reminds me of the reason why I do what I do today. And it's just, I see my own struggles, and I know often people see me as this really happy person, but it took a lot to get to where I am today. And I grew up with a lot of anxiety, and it led me to be just bullied at school or being suicidal in high school. But I'm thankful I had sports and I had my coach, Coach Walter, in high school, because she gave me the tough love I needed. She showed that she cared, and that's what I want to be for the kids.
That is
And
what you
I
are
just
for
don't
the
want-
kids. You are that for the kids.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I don't want any of them to go through what I went through or worse or anything. So I know running around, it's really important for all of them, and it makes kids happy just exercising and doing something active outside. And so I definitely miss that with them. But I'm thankful I've been able to teach them empathy, leadership, and just finally get that confidence they didn't have before. And so it's definitely been a privilege to be that person for them. So just want to give Coach and Cora a huge shout out to providing me with this opportunity, and just thank you to everybody that's tuning in tonight. And yeah, just a huge thank you.
Laura, your perseverance and determination is so inspirational, a true game changer. Laura Marquez, and a huge hug back out to you from all of us, Laura. Thank you so much for sharing your story and being vulnerable with us. More to come. Stay with us. Oh, yeah, here we go. It's virtual. I got my cue. Well, wow, there's no more moving testament to the power of strong volunteer coaches in at-risk communities than Laura and her story. But the key is people like you who are watching me not get my cue. You're helping to make this happen. You help Coaching Core to find, fund, and train young people like Laura so they can work their magic with kids. And now is the time that we ask you to help make that magic happen. Many of you know this event, the Game Changer Awards. It's our biggest fundraiser every year. So far, thanks to your help, our coaches have volunteered 300,000 hours, touching the lives of more than 200,000 young people in under-resourced communities. And as Laura showed us, the kids there just need to see that people care and that a coach won't give up on them. So right now, we recommend you use 2 screens, keep watching our live stream on one, and use another to donate. That way you can contribute and you're not gonna miss Steve Kerr, because obviously nobody wants to miss out on Steve Kerr, especially me. Here's what you do. Go to coach.ggo.bid. That's coach.ggo.bid. Register there. It's easy. You're ready, and you'll be ready to give. If you have any other questions about us, go to our website. It's coachingcore.org, and you'll find a ton of info about us. And finally, if you're having a tough time connecting with us, or you prefer to make your gift over the phone, here's the phone number, 510-496-5117. Give us a call. We have super friendly people standing by to help. Okay, everybody needs a team, especially me. And when you're asking for money, it really helps to have a partner. And that's why I get to team up with Coaching Core CEO Janet Carter. She's awesome. Welcome, Janet. It's always so nice to see you.
It's good to see you.
Thank you. She always makes everybody happy. And she gets to call out your gifts this evening and tell you about a few things that your support does at Coaching Core and in the communities that we serve. So Here are a couple of laundry list items. You can give at any amount, but we're going to go big. And we already got one. Thank you. Gail Gender. Go, Gail.
Thank you, Gail.
Yes, we're going to start big, and we're going to ask at the $10,000 level. So feel free to jump on and just begin dropping $10,000. We would take it. And we're thrilled to tell you that your gifts will make an even greater impact tonight. This is fantastic news, Janet. Three generous donors are matching your gift,
Yes.
dollar for dollar.
Thank you.
Yes, up to $100,000. That means every dollar you donate will have double its impact. Okay, so let's get some
James, thank you.
perspective. I know, yeah, it's great. We can see it coming in. You guys are
Yeah.
awesome. So Janet, you're gonna lend some perspective because I just dropped 10 grand and that's a lot of money, but it goes a long way with Coaching Core. Tell us
Yes.
how.
Well, thanks, Amy. $10,000 enables us to recruit amazing people like Laura to become Coaching Core coaches and place them with after-school programs like Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCAs, Parks and Rec departments that are serving low-income neighborhoods. Think about it. Some families spend that much just for one of their children to play on a travel team. A gift that size helps us train coaches for over 100 kids in how to use a season of sports to teach those invaluable life lessons like persistence, teamwork, empathy. Because the truth is, sports alone doesn't teach kids these lessons. A great coach like Laura does.
I love that. That's so true. She's awesome. That was so fun to talk to her. All right, we still have more coming in. Thank you to Catherine Snyder, Lauren Carey.
Yeah.
All right. It's fun to call out the names.
Yeah,
I
it
love that.
is.
Thank you.
And
Keep it coming. Keep it coming. If you have it, give it. Thank you. And we're going to move on to the next level just to help guide you, to give you some advice on how much you could donate. How about $5,000? That would be awesome. And just a reminder, if you'd like to pledge your gift monthly or over time, just let us know. We're super flexible and we will set that up for you. So Janet, a little more insight. When do you think sports, because we're in a pandemic, when do you think sports are going to come back? And what is Coaching Core doing to be ready for the kids when they return?
Well, Amy, economically challenged communities have taken the brunt of COVID losses. Kids have been stuck inside for a year with no friends or adults outside the home. And one 12-year-old, for example, boy that I know, he's trying to learn remotely on a bunk bed that he's sharing with his 3 siblings, all of them using their cell phones to attend school remotely from that bunk bed. So when kids emerge from all the traumas they're experienced as a result of the pandemic, they're going to need caring and consistent adults outside the home more than ever. And we want to be ready for them with thousands of trained coaches. We want everyone here to join us, to become part of the core. Our Be Ready campaign is recruiting, training thousands of people right now as coaches, and you can join by registering on our website and getting trained as a coach who's ready for the kids. And if coaching is impossible for you, a donation tonight or anytime is another way you can become part of the core and help us be ready when kids hit the playgrounds and fields again.
Oh, that's fantastic information, knowing where this is going. We're watching the thermometer rise as we do this. We love it. And we're going to move on to our suggested next level of $2,500. If you have it and can give it, we'll take it. We would love it. Yeah, and a reminder that your donation tonight, it's being matched dollar for dollar up to $100 grand. That can do so much. So let's keep giving. I just saw the thermometer go. It's very exciting. I have a bit of an adrenaline rush happening right now. Yeah. And don't forget, you can also go to coach.ggo.bid to donate, or you can go into the chat feature. So those are all ways you can go. Now we're going to talk about something very close to my heart, Janet, and that is girls in sports. It's a beautiful relationship, one that I experienced myself. I played multiple sports. I played at the collegiate level, and I have a daughter who's 12, almost 13 next week. She'd want me to mention that. She's an athlete as well. And I've seen the effect that it has on her. How are girls in particular impacted by sports and having a fantastic coach?
Well, Amy, research shows that over 70% of females who participated in sports go on to earn a college degree. And we hear from so many female executives, they'll tell you that they gained the confidence and learned so much about leadership and teamwork from playing sports. And that's why we strive to make sure that 50% at least of our coaches are female, because we see the enthusiasm that girls have when they look up to a female coach as a role model. And that goes for kids of color as well. Research shows that having a coach who shares some of your own life experiences has the potential to have even a deeper impact on your level of hope and optimism for the future. So we're making a special effort to recruit Black, brown, and female coaches so that we can have a diverse pool of coaches for our diverse pool of kids.
So important. You know, I've always followed the model, you have to see it to be it. We're in this great time right now where we're seeing women accomplish more than they ever have in sports. And I just can add, if you wonder how I can hang with big dogs like Kruk and Kipe, it's from lessons in sports. I draw back on those often when I need to get back at them. All right, we still get to hear from one of my heroes, Alyssa Nacken, the first female to coach in Major League Baseball. So back to that number though, 7 out of 10, you guys. 7 out of 10. Ooh, no, Doug,
thank you.
$5,000.
Yes, and Leanne, thank you so much.
Jeffrey and Elizabeth
Jeffrey
Spalding.
and Elizabeth, thank you.
$2,500.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. That is going to help so much. Okay, so 7 out of 10. I mean, that's 70% of girls that participate in sports go on to get a college degree. Just let that resonate for a second because it's a number that's going to stick with us. We're moving on. We're just suggesting a $1,000 level and a reminder that you can give at any level. Any bit helps. We just hope that you'll give. So, Janet, I asked you earlier how Coaching Corps would be ready for kids once the pandemic is over. Hopefully that's very, very soon.
Yeah.
But what have you been doing for kids during the pandemic when they couldn't play sports?
Well, our special sauce is volunteer coach recruitment.
I love special sauce.
Yeah. And we know that great coaches never leave a team in times of need. So we asked our volunteers to help with food distribution and blood drives and anything else that our communities needed during COVID. We got over 850 volunteers out there who also joined our athlete ambassadors such as Antonio Davis, Marshawn Lynch, and Dave Stewart to help meet the community needs during COVID.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, wow. The number, do you want to read off the number that we're at already?
87,000 and counting.
Remember,
Thank you, everyone. Oh, an anonymous for $25,000. Thank you so much.
We love you. Thank you so much. Now, we're so close to $100,000. I didn't major in math. I majored in communication, but we're just shy of $13,000 to get that $100,000. It just moved on me, and now I don't want to do that math, but thank you so much because I know it's increasing. Don't forget, you can go to coach.ggo.bid. You can call. Thank you, Abby. Yep, you can go into our chat. There's lots of ways that you can donate tonight. We're going to move on to the $500 level. That's a level that's pretty doable for a lot of people at this point, and we really, we really want to drive home the fact that we understand not everyone can volunteer to be a coach. You may not have the time, but you can make a huge difference with a donation tonight, and it keeps coming in. This is so exciting. So don't forget, you can find the link to donate in the YouTube chat, or you can go to the website, or you can call. And so, Janet, $500 level. The single most important thing a coach can do for a young person if this gift, $500, is made?
Well, let me tell you a story about Coach Colton. Oh. Coach Colton was a Coaching Corps coach in Compton down in LA. And after a few weeks of coaching, he noticed that the kids would run after him as he left for the day, all with the same question. Coach Colton, are you coming back tomorrow? Finally, one day, he asked a young boy, Jamal, why do you always ask me that same question? And Jamal said, and this is where I can say it with a, because nobody comes back for us.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it really is. So the most important thing we can do for these kids is to come back for them, to be there for them consistently. A gift of $500 will enable us to ensure that our coaches are there for kids, particularly after the tough time that they've been having over this last year.
So true. And this year has been so tough for so many, and that's what makes tonight. We just hit 100 grand.
Over
we just
100.
hit it. And I was just going to say,
thank you, Arlene.
This is in the year of a pandemic where everyone's had to pivot some way, shape, or form. Ted Griggs, way to go. Ted Griggs. Ted, first name, Ted, middle name, Griggs. Yeah, we know him if you can't tell. But I just want to go off script for a second, and this is such a genuine thank you, because we know everyone has struggled in their own way this past year, and it's been different for all of us, what we've had to deal with. And a lot of people have had to deal with losing their jobs and not being able to get the income that they have been receiving, and you're still giving. So I thank you. I thank you for doing that and for thinking of the bigger picture. Okay, so we're gonna open it up now, and I've been saying this the whole time, any level you wish to give, we will take it, and Coaching Corps will use it for good things. And by giving tonight, you join the family, you join the Corps. It's a growing movement of generous people who want to level the playing field for kids in underserved communities, and who know the power that a trained coach as a mentor and role model can have on a young person's life. So, Janet, what do you hear most consistently from coaches about their experience coaching? What is the most important thing that makes them want to, what you said, keep coming back for Jamal?
You know, it's the kids, Amy. They fall in love with the kids. Coaches will tell you they joined because they wanted the free training, or they thought it would be a fun way to be part of the solution and to give back, or that they had a lot to teach the kids, they thought. But ultimately, they end up feeling that they learn more from the kids than the kids did from them. One of my favorite sayings, my most favorite sayings about coaching is, when you coach, you teach. And when you teach, you learn. So in the end, it's the kids that keep the coaches coming back.
So true. When you coach, you teach, and when you teach, you learn.
Yeah.
I will be walking away with that this evening. All right, it is time to wind down the fund, the need. You all have been amazing. We're seeing these numbers come in: $2,000. Julie McGuire, $5,000.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. It far surpassed our expectations, and we hope that this keeps going. So please know that you can still make a gift of any size, I know, through the evening, and all evening. And we hope that you will be inspired to do so while watching. Remember, all of your contributions, they were matched up to $100,000, but still keep them coming, because every single dollar is needed.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up. Do you want to say where we are so far?
We are now at,
it keeps moving, which is good.
It moves. We can't stop it, and we don't want to. It's almost we're just a few dollars short of $125,000.
Neither one of us want to do the math.
Tracy, thank you. Yes.
We're really close to 125. Let's get that as high as we can. We have so much more to come. Janet?
Yes. Well, thank you again to our sponsors and friends at Levi Strauss, Comcast Xfinity, Blue Shield of California, and all of you watching who are out there giving so generously on behalf of the kids who will play sports soon. Thanks to you, our deepest appreciation. You are the real game changers for tonight. You can continue to support Coaching Corps' work throughout the show at the website that Amy gave you before, coach.ggo.bid, or at 510-496-5117.
Thank you so much, Janet. You rock. You're a game changer, and I love sitting beside you and being on your team. Now, for the highlight of our night, yay, we're joined by Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr. Yes, I just fangirled out a little bit. We all know Steve Kerr as one of the most successful figures in NBA history. He's won 5 championships as a player, 3 more as a head coach, and he's done it all with grace and humor. You know, this guy.
When we called timeout with 25 seconds to go, we went into the huddle. Phil told Michael, he said, "Michael, I want you to take the last shot." And Michael said, you know, Phil, I don't feel real comfortable in these situations, so maybe we ought to go in another direction. Why don't we go to Steve? So I thought to myself, well, I guess I got to bail Michael out again.
This is my first coaching job, other than coaching Nick's 8th grade AAU team, the Wildcats. We were awesome, by the way. We dominated the northern part of San Diego County.
Asked me if Bogut was starting. I lied. No, I did. I mean, I lied. I just feel strange, like, as a coach saying, well, the Hamptons 5 played really well tonight. Like, I can't say that, but you can. They ran 2 plays. Get the ball to Clay, and Clay get the ball. You know, those were the two plays they ran. But I took a look at the roster, and I thought, man, I got a big job on my hands. Not much talent, very little shooting, not much versatility. The defense was suspect. More than anything, just shaky character. I mean, look at these guys. It just gets old watching the same team, you know, win the whole thing year after year. Sorry. That was really arrogant, wasn't it? It was kind of fun to say that though.
Okay, so you just saw arrogant is probably the word you would never use to describe Steve Kerr. And I don't even think he's going to like me saying this because he just gave $5,000 to Coaching Corps. But I wanted to call him out because he's awesome. He's very charming, as you can see. But let's go back. When Steve was a young player, wrong athlete. When Steve was a young player at Palisades High School in Los Angeles, he wasn't yet that self-confident adult you just saw. Like so many of our kids, to reach his potential, he simply needed someone to believe in him. That person, that coach who changed his life, was just beginning his legendary run at the University of Arizona.
Well, Steve was looking for a place to walk on, actually. I called his high school coach and asked if he would set up some kind of a scrimmage. My wife, Bobby, and I went in and watched him for about an hour and a half. And I asked my wife on the way to the car, well, what did you think? And she said, you gotta be kidding me.
I really wasn't very good at the time. I was kind of a late bloomer. But honestly, one of the reasons I did bloom was because I played for Coach Olson. I used to kid him that we'd put a telephone book on the floor and I wasn't sure whether he could get over that or not. He wasn't the quickest of foot, but he was so intelligent. He was an amazing coach. He taught the fundamentals better than anybody. So I was just really lucky to learn from him.
Malcolm Kerr, the president of American University in Beirut, was gunned down in his school today, the latest victim of Lebanon's seemingly endless violence.
We didn't want him to wake up in the morning to CNN and see this, so we went over and woke him up and told him, and it was a hard thing to tell him. Coach Olson and Bobby made sure that I had a place to go. I ended up staying at their house for a couple of nights, and you know, he and his family really took care of me at a time when I desperately needed it. You know, there was a lot of pressure on him to go back to the Knicks. And then when the Warriors job opened, I called him right away and I said, the Warriors job is open. He said, I know, I've applied, he said. To be perfectly blunt, he sort of laughed and he said, well, if it were me, I would take the Warriors job. and you know, he was pretty matter of fact. He's like, well, that's the one, that's the job. And he was right. I absorbed so much of what he taught me and what I observed while I was in school that a lot of what we do with the Warriors is patterned after the things that I learned from Coach Olson. I'm thinking of Lute Olson, thinking of Phil Jackson, Lenny Wilkins, Greg Popovich. I've been blessed to play for the greatest coaches ever. Standing on the stage as a championship coach, it was pretty overwhelming to think about you know, the men who had helped me, and Coach Olson
was the first person I thought of. Dedicating my life to basketball and being able to build an entire existence from the sport. All of that began with Coach Olson. Meeting him and playing for him and learning from him gave me the path that I've been on, which has been an e-ticket at Disneyland. I owe him more than I could ever repay, that's for sure.
Well, I do not hide the fact that I'm a big fan. Joining us now, Pac-12 champion and Final Four shooting guard for the Arizona Wildcats, and an 8-time NBA champion, the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr. I'm sorry I called you Steve Young. Didn't mean to do that. I was a little nervous. Steve, thank you so much for your time tonight. It's a rare night off for you, and we all want to know what Coach Lute Olson meant to you.
Well, Coach Olson meant the world to me. He passed away this past summer, and it was a devastating loss for all of us. So many players at Arizona, and before that at Iowa and Long Beach State, where Coach Olson coached. We all gathered, online basically to commemorate Lute's life, and there were literally hundreds of other people just like me who, shared their stories and in terms of how much he impacted us. And so it really hit home to me and reminded me of the impact that a coach can make. And I'm reminded of that really every single day when I think about this life that I live, getting to coach basketball and be the coach of the Warriors, and to have built a life around the game of basketball. None of it happens unless Coach Olson, number one, recruits me to Arizona when nobody else was recruiting me, and number two, teaches me the game, how to build a program, how to build yourself, how to build your confidence, your aptitude, how to build your fundamental base. He taught us those things every single day. And so I think about Coach Olson. I've got a photo of him in my office. I look at that photo every day, and I'm just so thankful that I crossed paths with him, because if it weren't for him, I would not be the coach of the Warriors, I can tell you that.
Steve, I just want to pull something out that you mentioned about building yourself, because Coach Olson was known not just for building the player, but building the person off the court. And what did that really mean to you? When did that sink in that he was doing that for you?
I don't think it sunk in, Amy, for a couple of years. You show up. I was 17 when I showed up on campus, just a baby, and was so happy to be there, but scared to death. And I didn't really have much confidence in myself until probably my, midway through my sophomore year. And then I think, somewhere during that span, I was able to sort of, kind of be introspective and look back and think, man, I've come pretty far in a year and a half, and how did that happen? And it came from the daily work that we put in as a team, and the commitment individually and as a group to learn and to compete and to fight and over and over again every single day, and to go through all the ups and downs that we all go through in sports, but to do so with a group of people who supported me. It was just an amazing experience. So it took a couple of years to realize that my life was completely changing, because I was growing. I was growing as a person, as an athlete, mentally, physically, spiritually, across the board. And so, it took a couple of years to really fully realize the impact that Coach Olson was making.
Yeah, it's so special to have someone like that enter your life when you are that young. Earlier, Steve, Kruk, and Kipe joined us, and they talked about the importance of making the game fun. You seem to do that even at the professional ranks with a lot on the line, your team plays with such a sense of joy. Maybe not Draymond all the time, but most of the guys, most of the time, but we don't always get a joyful coach. So I'm changing the script a little bit. Did you have a coach that was tough or hard to get along with? And what can you learn from that situation? What can you tell young kids that have a tough coach?
Well, I think you learn from any coach, and I really believe that everybody has something to offer. You're not going to get along with everyone perfectly, but if you have a coach, there's going to be some things that come through that you can learn and that you can take from. I definitely had tough coaches. My high school coach was very tough. And joy was definitely not one of his core values, but he was a great fundamental basketball coach. He taught me in high school, a lot of the fundamentals that helped me get to Arizona and become a college athlete. And so I think you kind of have to roll with it. Part of being an athlete is rolling with the punches and learning how to deal with adversity. And you're going to have some teammates you love, some teammates you don't love as much. Same with coaches, but that's how life is. And just learning how to thrive and to function within all of that is really important.
All right, so we have to ask you, and I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit, but you played for some pretty iconic coaches in Greg Popovich, Phil Jackson, Lenny Wilkens, and of course Lute. So similarities, differences.
I think the thing they all shared was they were all clearly in charge. There was a really strong presence with each and every one of them. And that's really important. I think a coach has to have a wisdom and a presence where the players know, okay, he or she knows what they're talking about, and they can help me. And that's a coach's job is to help their players grow and improve and get better. And the ones that stood out at the pro level for me were Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich, and a big part of it was their sense of humor. And that's when I realized that joy was something that could become a real core value for a team. And so when I came to the Warriors, that was one of the values I brought and wanted to institute. I want our players to feel joy every time they come in to the gym. And I was fortunate enough to inherit a player named Steph Curry who completely embodies joy on the basketball court. And it's been one of the most rewarding things for me is to coach our group and to come to this realization that you can win at the highest level and behave like a little league team, going out for ice cream after a big win. You can do all that with the right people, the right atmosphere, but it has to be unique, and that's what I learned. Every coach has to be unique to himself or herself because the players will sense whether it's real or not. And this has been such an amazing experience for me to coach the Warriors because of just the quality of players and people who I've been able to associate with, and just an absolute blessing. And I truly believe what Laura Marquez mentioned earlier, which is that as a coach, you end up learning more from your athletes than they learn from you. I 100% believe that.
Well, we just adore you. Your joy transcends from the court to the fan base. And we talked earlier tonight about good karma, and I believe you have it. And I believe that's why you've been able to play for such great coaches and have such great players. We are so grateful for your time tonight. I know you have a job to do, so we're going to let you do it. Thank you to Steve Kerr. What a privilege to have Steve Kerr with us tonight. We so deeply appreciate the support of Steve, his donation tonight, and the Warriors, and the highly visible presence of all of Northern California's sports teams over the past 7 years. But this event also requires the less visible efforts of dozens of people whose work makes this event possible. They are some of the unsung heroes of Coaching Corps, and we unfortunately lost one of them this year, our very dear friend, Tom Pelak. I speak from experience. Tom was one of our favorite people. He made a big impact on Bay Area sports and this event. And he will be so greatly missed by his NBC Sports Bay Area and Coaching Corps family. In his honor, the Giants and the A's have decided to name the trophy awarded to the winner of their annual series, the Tom Pelak Memorial Bridge Trophy. We are honored to have Tom's wife, Tara, watching our show tonight. Tara, we love you. And we hope that the Battle of the Bay will now always bring a smile to your heart, because we know how much Tom loved the game. Thank you, Tom. All right, I'm going to get it together. And speaking of the Bridge Trophy, when the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's faced off last July, history was made. Not by a no-hitter or a walk-off home run, but by a coach. Her uniform is now in the Baseball Hall of Fame. That's right, I said her uniform.
Alyssa Nacken at first base. We had an interview with Alyssa early on. When you were a kid, did you ever think you were going to be a trailblazer? First woman ever to be a coach at big league level? And she said, no, I didn't. So what were some of the reactions of your teammates at Sac State when they announced that you'd be part of a big league coaching staff? Well, she said they were great. They weren't surprised. Oh. And as we've gotten to know her, we're not surprised either. No.
That is Alyssa Nacken, coaching first base for the Giants against the A's on July 20th, 2020. The number 32 jersey she wore that day is now in Cooperstown as an example for young girls and boys of what can be accomplished when one doesn't pay attention to barriers and pushes through with grit and determination. Alyssa learned those lessons as a three-sport athlete in Woodland, California, and from her Connie Mack softball coach, Gabe Abelia.
I started playing for Gabe when I was 9.5 or 10 years old. So I played under him throughout all my teenage years.
She was a little goofy, but always had a willingness to learn and improve whatever she could.
I knew that I could go to Gabe about anything that was going on in my life. There's something about being 14, 15 years old and everything your parents say just doesn't make as good of sense. And so Gabe was the one that I went to during some of my hardest times growing up. And he just made me see and believe in the strength that I have within myself. 2014 was when I began the internship. The Giants had an internship open up in baseball operations, and 2019 was a pivotal time for me because I was ready to take a next step in my career, and Gabe Kapler was hired as the manager, and I just started to if I'd see him in the service tunnel or if we were in meetings together or whatever, I'd call him Coach Gabe. And I would kind of laugh to myself because I knew okay, you don't call this new manager Coach first name, but I just kept doing it. And I don't know why, it was just something that it brought me back to Gabe Abelia and the memories and the lessons learned from him. And it was about a little over a month long interview process. And at one point in one of the interviews, he said, I have to tell you something, at the major league level, you don't call a manager coach. And he's like, so you don't need to call me Coach Gabe. Like, you can call me Cav, you can call me Skipper, whatever. And I just started laughing. I said, well, let me tell you about this guy. I think that was a huge, actually big part of my interview process for the assistant coach position with Cap.
San Francisco Giants' new manager Gabe Kapler has finalized his coaching staff and made history doing so. Alyssa Nakin has been named as assistant coach and is the first female to hold a position on a major league staff.
It's something, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Yeah, it's like I learned so much about coaching and just how to connect with players from Gabe. And, you know, everything that he taught me or that I just learned from being an athlete for him, I've taken into my career now.
I was so proud to know that Alyssa, she's like my own kid. She had accomplished something huge. I went for women, you know, for society and for baseball.
I'm really excited that a small part of the world gets a small introduction to Gabe Abelia because he's life-changing.
Get your tissues out, right? All right, Alyssa is currently in Arizona prepping for spring training, but made time to join me on Zoom to honor her coach. Here's a look. I'm thrilled to see my friend, Alyssa Nakin, who's actually in Arizona, getting ready to whip those boys into shape. We love it. How nice is it, Alyssa, to be in Arizona knowing that there's a sense of normalcy happening with baseball going forward?
Oh, it's so thrilling. I've been able to be at the stadium. I was able to go there yesterday, and just the energy that the guys have and our coaching staff has, it's just really exciting. And there's a lot of gratitude that we feel, and kind of like this sense of being extremely humble for the opportunity to get going and have somewhat of a normal season.
You've had good coaches around you your whole life, and tonight is about honoring one that made a huge impact on you when you were playing softball, Coach Gabe Abelia, and he is going to join us. And there he is. Coach Gabe, Alyssa's been raving about you, 10 years playing under you, and you had a huge impact.
First of all, I want to thank Coaching Corps for giving me the opportunity to publicly honor the game changer in my life, Coach Gabe. I was 10 years old when I first started playing for Gabe's travel softball team. We were never the team filled with the best players in the country, but we were a team that could beat some of the best teams in the country. Why? Because there was nothing in our minds that told us we couldn't. Gabe taught us that every time you step on the field, you are going to battle for your teammates, regardless of who is in the other dugout. There is no excuse not to give 100% effort between the lines every single day. Gabe had this unique way, something I tried to emulate every single day in my current career, of bringing out the most competitive yet selfless spirit in the girls he coached. Through the game of softball, Coach Gabe was teaching us the life lessons we needed in order to show up in society as quality and humble human beings who make positive impacts in our day-to-day lives. He was there for me as someone who didn't just pat me on the back or hug me in a time of need. He was there to push me outside of what I thought were the limits of what I could do. I remember a couple of times feeling stuck on the mound, trying to pitch out of a bases loaded 3-0 count situation and wanting to be anywhere but on the mound. I'd look in the dugout with full puppy dog eyes, hoping to see him come take me out, but no, there he'd be, leaning against the dugout railing, chewing seeds and staring right back at me with a nod and a clap or a chest pound and say, "Throw the cheese, Hop." Hop was a nickname he and another coach gave me. I would then laugh a little and regain the focus and get us out of the inning. It was in moments like that, moments filled with a little bit of fear, a dash of uncertainty, and a taste of hesitation, where Gabe helped me grow the most and instilled in me a deep confidence that I could do things I never thought possible. So it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you all and honor as my game changer, Coach Gabe Abelia.
Wow, that was great, Alyssa. Just trying to hold back tears.
Me too.
Me too, you guys. Gabe, what can you say? What's your reaction to what Alyssa said about you?
Oh, that was amazing. I mean, I feel the same way about her. She's just been an awesome person. Yeah, it's been an honor coaching her. She's amazing. I love her like a child, like she's my own child. And yeah, I'm just extremely honored. It means so much to me to receive this award.
Alyssa is now somebody that my little girl can say, if I have to see it to be it, and I'm seeing her doing this, and now I know I can do this. So are you aware of the domino effect you've had for girls all over the world in the confidence you instilled in Alyssa and where she's been able to go?
Kids are seeing her, at the point where she's at in her life, being able to coach a team like the San Francisco Giants. Like, wow, now they see that they have opportunities on. They can actually get to that point. Watching Alyssa, I'm watching Alyssa going, wow, it's hard to believe. But I hopefully I've helped at some point and getting to where she's at now.
Gabe, I love you. Thank you so much for everything.
So proud of you, your accomplishments. And now it's your turn to coach. I'll be looking forward to watch you.
All right. Well, what didn't make that interview is that I said that Coach Abelia needs to get free tickets from Alyssa to any Giants game that he wants to go to. He's earned it. All right. It was an honor to be a part of that. Thank you so much, Coach Gabe Abelia and Alyssa. By the way, that game in which Alyssa coached first base, a 6-2 Giants victory. Like I said before, it's about good karma. It pays off. We hope Alyssa's story, those of Steve Kerr and Lute Olson, and especially that of our Coach of the Year, Laura Marquez, have inspired you tonight. They certainly have inspired me. If you haven't yet and you would like to help us with a financial contribution, you can still do it on your tablet, your phone, your PC. Go to coach.ggo.bid and click register now. That's coach.ggo.bid. It's easy. You can also go to our website, coachingcore.org, to find out more about us or even to volunteer as a coach. And we still have phone lines open if you want to speak with somebody to help with your contribution. COVID-19 has taught us that kids need coaches and mentors now more than ever. Help us to be ready for the day when youth coaches can resume working face-to-face with kids across the country, leading them, teaching them, and just being there for them. I would like to mention we have raised more than $150,000 right here tonight. Our final thank you to all of our special guests, Steve Kerr, Alyssa Nacken, Kruk and Kite. Thanks to the Bay Area teams who supported this event, the Warriors, the Giants, A's, Niners, Sharks, Earthquakes, Kings, Stanford, and Cal. Congratulations to our Volunteer Coach of the Year, Laura Marquez, and our other honorees. And most of all, thank you. $150,000, more than that, and more to come. We thank you, everyone in our audience, for your time and your gifts. And until we meet again in person at next year's 8th Annual Game Changer Awards, I'm Amy G. Good night.
When we get back to work, let's work to make sure it's not business as usual.
When we open up,
let's be more open.
Let's recognize that women have the same rights as men.
Let's stand together.
Let's make things better.
Let's change.
Let's change.
Let's give 50% of the population 50% of the voice.
Oh, you think this is just a community center? No, it's way more than that. Because when you hook our community up with the internet, boom, look at Ariana crushing virtual class, Jamal chasing that college dream, Michael doing something crazy. This is the place where we can show the world what we can do.
Comcast is partnering with 1,000 community centers to create Wi-Fi-enabled lift zones so students from low-income families can get the tools they need to be ready for anything.
Oh, we're ready.